Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody, man? You already know it's your boy, Uncle P, and this is the Cultivating Mature Positivity podcast. I have with me my very special guest, Councilman Fred Green. How you feeling, sir?
Man, I'm feeling absolutely amazing. Can't complain.
Listen, man, city council, school board, community servant, we're talking to Mr. Green today about everything that's going on. We got the stormwater, we got the ethics, we got the peace, love, and unity festival that's going on, and just how he feels overall in this position that he's never been in before. But I know he always wanted to sit at the table, so now he's at the table. He has a speaking role. How does that feel? Anyway, how's your day?
Man, my day is good. It's been a busy day, but it's been a good day. Got a chance to watch my niece in a little recital at her school.
Okay.
I've been doing some meetings, and it's been a pretty good day.
All right. We're going to start this off with an icebreaker. These are petty questions. Oh. Yes or no?
Okay.
All right. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Do you like funnel cake?
Yes.
Do you have plans on running for mayor?
Yes.
If you could be anybody in the world, and this is not a yes or no question, who would it be and why?
Barack Obama.
Why?
Because he's a great example and great leader he's a great example of what a black man should be. He was a great leader in this country and still continues to be a great leader. Someone that leads with class, dignity, respect, and he's everything that I would want to be in life.
Okay. All right.
Just the way he carries his wife,
right.
The way he, treats his
family.
wife. Right. One of the very few presidents to never have not one scandal while in the White House for 8 years.
You got to count it for what it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's how you stand up. Honor first. So my phone rang last week. You're on the other end. To be honest, I didn't know why you were calling me. After you made the request for the interview, I thought about it. I sat with it. I say yes automatically right then and there. We came up with the date. But I want to know why now, and why do you feel this is the right time?
It's been a lot of, I'm on social media a lot. It's been a lot of talk, a lot of people talking, a lot of rumors out there, a lot of false accusations, a lot of false words. Right. And I just felt the need to, instead of just putting out a statement which is so politically correct. Right. I'm from Chester, man. Right. Instead of putting out a statement, let's go on CNP Radio and let's clear the air. Let's sit down and do an interview, with one of Chester's own. Right. I don't feel the need. Some politicians, they put out a statement after everything. That's not me. Okay. I'd rather come on, chop it up with you on live. And that way we can really clear the air. And then also sometimes text message, state messages, they get misconstrued. So I'd rather you hear it first from my mouth.
I'm glad that you can admit that, right? That you didn't just want to text it. You didn't want to put a post out on Facebook. You wanted to go live. And you came to the platform in the city. Now, there are other people out here doing podcasts. And if they hit you up, I say go on their podcast too, right? Shout out to everybody out there doing their thing. But today we are talking to Councilman Fred Green about everything, right? So I want to start off with the first question. Before politics, you were a celebrity host. How did you go from the entertainment side to public service?
Well, make a long story short, my dream was to be a TV host. Okay. That was my dream. But my passion was always community activism. And so I started out in community activism and entertainment, but then it really led to my passion, which was community activism. Okay. And, I had a great career hosting. Right. I did a lot of shows, a lot of touring, right. A lot of, back and forth to Hollywood, California, right. Walking the red carpet, right. Going to the NAACP Image Awards, did a show in Fort Dix, New Jersey with 52,000 people in attendance. Okay. That was, in the Source magazine back then. But my passion was always in the community. Okay. I always wanted what was best for the community. And so here I am.
What was best for the community. Keep that in mind, right? You served on the Chestnut Upland School Board.
Correct.
Before joining city council, of course. What did that role teach you about leadership and responsibility?
The role taught me, it taught me a lot. If you know anything about the school district, Let me just say, I learned to read a lot. You read a lot of documents. Right. It teaches you about budgets. Okay. About how to set municipality budgets and government budgets. Right. I've been to a lot of training because not only was I vice president of the school board, but I was also on the Delaware County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors too. And so, and only black man at the time out there too. Okay. Which was a historic moment. Right. And so it just taught me a lot about how to be a good leader and how to really ask a lot of questions. A good leader asks a lot of questions, especially if you don't know. And I've always been the one, if I don't know something, I'm going to ask questions. I don't pretend that I know everything because I don't. Right. But I know a little something, and I've been in roles that can teach me a lot. And being on the school board, it taught me a lot about again, setting budgets, how to make policy, how to read the law and how to understand certain things. So. Okay.
Now the school district is also in receivership.
Correct.
And what do you have to say to people that said that was a lame duck position that you were in because you really didn't have any power because of the receiver?
Well, it's not really that you don't have any power. I mean, you still have power. You still get a chance. When I was on the school board, we were still levying taxes. Okay. We can still vote to raise taxes or levy taxes. We can still do the expulsion hearings, and you still play a vital role in assisting the receiver in the decisions that he make. Also, you become a voice for the community because a lot of times receivers, they come in and they may do whatever they want to do. But if you got non-school board members that's sitting there and watching and saying, hey, no, we're not going for this. The community won't allow this, and I'm standing up for the community. We're not going to allow you to do what you want to do. And you call people out. You call the school board, the superintendent or the receiver or whoever's in place. You call them out and say, hey, no, I don't think that decision is right. And I'd rather you go this way, or I'd rather you inform the community about this or about that. And so you just have 9 set of eyes that's on one person. And unfortunately, whether it's the city's receiver or the school district receiver, the receiver has a lot of power. The receiver acts as one man for 9 people. The school board consists of 9 school board members. Right. The receiver, he makes this decision for all 9 members. Okay. And so that's a lot of power in one person's hand. Absolutely. And so oftentimes when one person has a lot of power, they may take advantage or they may do whatever they want to do. But if you got 9 people who really care about this community, whether they have the power to vote on certain things or not, they can still hold the receiver accountable. Absolutely. And that's one of the things I did, no matter what. And I was there through many receivers. Okay. And I held every last one of them accountable.
Okay. Awesome. Tell me what was going through your head when you realized that the door for city council had opened, right? What was going through your head, and what did you want to happen?
So, and it's crazy because I wasn't going to run for city council. I was fine being on the school board. Right. I enjoyed the school board. I enjoyed being on the school board.
Now, school board is non-paying.
It's non-paying. Okay. It's non-paying. And, what a lot of people don't know is when I got on the school board, I had to give up my high-paying consultant job at Chester Community Charter School in order to run for school board. Right. And it was a conflict of of interest. Absolutely. Because the charter school and a public school always in court. They're battling over the rate for special education and different things like that. And so in order for me to run for school board, I had to give that job up. And I didn't. It wasn't really a hard decision for me because you'll
make money.
You'll make money. Absolutely. God will provide. God will make a way. Absolutely. No matter what situation you're in, God will make a way. Money gonna come. Okay. But opportunities may not always come like that. And so I thought it was important for me to take that opportunity. And so I left my job at Chester Community Charter School and run for the school board, where you don't receive a dime. Nothing. Not 1 red cent for being on the school board.
Not a free lunch.
And not even a free. It's a volunteer position. Okay. But if you really care about the community, you're really passionate about helping change lives and really passionate about trying to make a difference, you'll run for it.
Absolutely.
And that's why, I say to people all the time, like a lot of people, they talk a lot of trash on Facebook. They say all of this on Facebook. Well, go run for office. There are seats every year that is available. Go run for office and try to make a change. You can't make a change from Facebook all the time. So,
You can't make a change, but you can hold people accountable.
Absolutely.
And you can get them to be more transparent and come out and talk to the community. Listen, no one goes out there all willy-nilly talking to the community. The politicians that are here now aren't holding weekly conferences in the project or in the Bennett or in the McCaff to talk to the residents about what they need to do, how they need to be, what they need to see, and trying to feel how they feel, right? We're not doing that, right? So if people are in these pockets and they're asking questions, and the only place they can really ask them, they can't really ask them at the city council meeting, right? For a while, no, if you got up and you talked, you feel me? It was like, man, shut them down, sit them down, right? So if they're holding you accountable on Facebook, I say listen and listen to answer, right?
Absolutely.
Communication works both ways. You have to listen to understand, right? So you have to listen to understand, not to respond. So, but tell me about how you felt. Like, okay, city council is open. What were your plans, and what did you plan on doing?
So, and again, I didn't plan on running for city council. That was something last minute. Right. Especially, everyone knows I'm a part of the Democratic Party, right. And the Democratic Party already had their slate of candidates. Yes, their incumbents who was running for office, who I worked for at one point. Worked for, and they all watched me grow from little Fred to the Fred I am now.
Absolutely.
And so I never planned to run against them. I didn't plan to run, for city council, but as it was getting closer to petition time, something said, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time. Sometimes you see the writing on the wall, and I think I seen the writing on the wall, and I said, you know what? I think it's time. I think I should run for city council. Right. And I talked to some folks around me. I talked to my friends, my family, and I said, I believe I want to run for city council. Everyone supported me. They all encouraged me to do it. Right. And I went to the Democratic Party for support. And, they had their voting convention where they vote the endorsed candidates of who they will endorse for the election. Right. They voted against me. They didn't endorse me. Right. I wasn't a Democratic candidate on the endorsed slate.
You expected that, though.
I expect.
Right. Well, you had the incumbents. You feel me? We had Billy Morgan. You feel me? And Ms.
Elizabeth
Williams. Right. So you didn't really expect for. Who's in charge of the? We're not going to do that. Anyway,
I mean, there was a chance that they could have voted. Okay. They could have voted for me because it's all the members within the Democratic Party. Okay. And you got members that are young and members that are old and in between. Okay. And they can vote for whoever they want to be the nominee. And so it was a voting convention, and you get up there, you make a speech, you let them know who you are, what you want to do, and then they take a vote. And I came up short. They voted for the incumbents, which I kind of expected it, but then I kind of they all know me. I think they may or may not be ready for a change.
Right.
And so,
okay.
But I was excited. I thought it was a great opportunity, and I gave it all I had.
And you won.
And I won.
Obviously.
And I won.
Right? You're sitting here right now. You're a councilman.
Which is sometimes rare to beat out incumbents.
It Not when everything is following the way everything was following. We had the money that went missing. We had the misappropriation. We had a whole bunch of sticky stuff in certain spots, right? I'm not accusing anybody of anything. Billy, I love you, man. But
shout out to Will Morgan. That's my guy.
Absolutely. That's my guy. Miss Williams. She's awesome.
Absolutely. She's still fighting till this day.
Still fighting.
She's still fighting.
So when you look at it, right, you say the mayor, William Morgan, Miss Elizabeth, all of those people are gone, right? Did you have a conversation with the mayor at the time? Did you tell him you wanted to run?
With Thaddeus?
With Thaddeus Kirkland.
I did.
Right. What did he say?
Go to the Democratic Party, Okay. And he's you got to realize he couldn't support me. That he couldn't publicly support me because he had a slate. Right. He's already running with his slate. Right. They had already announced that they're running. They had already started preparing for their campaign. Right. Which was Thaddeus Kirkland, Will Morgan, Liz Williams, and Joy Teller. Okay. So they had their four slate of candidates for all four open positions. And so it wasn't like, okay, he couldn't turn his back on the people that he's been rocking with. Right. So to pick me up.
Okay.
But he had to do what he had to do and you know he was
he
with
did
his
it.
party, and he did it.
Right.
But he still supported me though. Okay. He still supported me, and even after I won the primary, he supported me too.
So what do you have to say to the people that are saying, you know, you were sent in by Thad? Maybe he knew he wasn't going to win the mayoral seat. Maybe he knew Billy wasn't going to win the council seat, right? And he said, all right, well, if you get in there, I'm still in there. What do you have to say to those people?
No, that's absolutely not true. Because even if just because I got in, don't mean that I would have been. I'm able to control council, or I'm able to sway the votes, or I'm able to do, you know, whatever. People. No, that's absolutely false.
All right. Well, on the day you were sworn in, you said something very bold. You said the mayor has to understand that this city will be run by city council, not through him. What did you mean by that?
Exactly what I said. I mean, you got to when we first got elected,
right,
and as we was transitioning into city council, into the mayor's role, I think the mayor had his vision of what he wanted to do, right, and how he wanted the city to run, and how he wanted city council to function. And his way of thinking and how he wanted it to function was totally different from mine.
Okay.
And so, as I stated on the day that we were sworn in, he may have wanted to run it like a dictatorship, where right, it was the mayor and chief of staff running things.
Is that how Thaddeus kind of ran it though?
No. I mean, no. Because see, you had, at that time, each council person was over top of a department.
Right.
So he wanted us to voluntarily just give up our administrative powers, okay, and give up our directorship. Right. We didn't want to just voluntarily do it. However, the court ended up siding with the receiver, right, later on down the line.
Right. Because that was something that the receiver was trying to do while Thaddeus was in.
Correct.
Yep. That
and Roots was with that.
Right.
It was the Roots compromise.
Doesn't that take pressure off you though? Now you're not in charge?
I mean, it does.
Right?
It does. It does.
It's not knocking the money down, right?
Correct.
Right. So, like,
we still got a $10,000 increase.
Okay.
I mean, a $10,000 decrease.
Okay. So y'all got an increase. Oh.
Yeah, mayor and council. When the new regime came in, we all took a $10,000 salary decrease.
Okay. Right.
So the previous administration, they all had $10,000 additional in their salary.
So did you and Mayor Roots have any conversation prior to election? Like, y'all were going to be on the same team. You know, I was game. I'm with you. You feel me? Anybody in his campaign thought that way about you?
No, it wasn't really we was running together or anything like that. However, after we both won, we did have a meeting. Right. We had several meetings. We had one meeting with just me and him. Mm-hmm. You know, we met down at his campaign office, and we talked about the city. We talked about a lot of things. And I've never had a problem with Roots. We've never been, beefing.
A personal issue.
It's never been a personal issue. We just don't.
It's just political.
It's political. It's political. Right. We don't see eye to eye politically.
Okay. All right.
But we still speak to each other. I still talk to the mayor. Right. It ain't no beef between us. And so, there were conversations. Did I like them conversations? No. But there was conversations that me, him, and Councilwoman-elect at the time, Tamika, we had. Right. We didn't like those conversations, but they was had.
Okay. When you think about how city government works, the most important thing is respect for each other, transparency, and accountability. When you said that, could he take that as disrespect from you, saying that he thought it was going to run this way, but it's going to run through council? Because when he nominated his pick for his seat, you nominated someone else, right? So could he see that as disrespectful? You feel me? Or
I mean, if he's seen it as disrespectful, that's how he's seen it. Right. But it wasn't disrespectful; it was political.
Okay.
So whenever there's a vacant seat, city council has the opportunity to vote on that vacant seat. Right. Any member of city council, from the mayor to who's ever sitting, they can make a nomination of who they want to become city council.
Okay.
The mayor, that was his seat.
Right.
And so, of course, he had the opportunity to say, this is who I
wanted,
want.
right.
And then city council had an opportunity to say, and this is who I want.
Right.
And majority rules. And Christopher Garrett, he was a great candidate.
He was.
I didn't know Christopher Garrett until I was introduced to him.
Right.
And I knew Shaquan.
Right.
And I knew what he's been doing. I know his family.
Right.
He comes from a political family. His grandfather was a judge. His dad is a judge. Shaquan was working in the state representative's office. So he was out there in the community. And I seen his work ethic, and I thought that he would be a great candidate to appoint the city council, and that's what we did.
Right. So you have the mayor's seat, then you have 4 city council seats.
Correct.
So I told you I didn't vote for you. I didn't vote for the current sitting mayor. And the reason I didn't vote for him is because he was in support of you. You feel me? And I was like, man, it's the same pill. That's what I thought. You feel me? It could be different, right? I didn't really have a conversation with you. I said it's the same pill. It's all coming from Thad, bro. And if I'm gonna put Thad in there, Thad is gonna sit up there, right? I'm not gonna put somebody in there and then it's just run amok and crazy. So when I said that, it kind of put me back on the fence, right? Because I was on one side, right? I was against that, right? Running for mayor because he was fighting against the receiver. It wasn't working. Like, we got to come together and agree on some things so we can get this thing fixed. We can't keep fighting and running and doing all this stuff and avoiding accountability. I told that. It wasn't you. You didn't fuck the city up. It was fucked up way before you, right? We've had corrupt individuals in office way before that. But he's just understanding that now it's all coming to an end, it's crumbling, it's falling, and it looks like it's at his feet. And I'm never giving that to him, right? I did give him because he put himself back on the ballot. But this is not about that. This is about you. I'm sorry for that. Many believe that you are still connected to Mayor Thaddeus Kirkland. What do you have to say about that?
When you say connect, I'm going to be connected to Thaddeus Kirkland for the rest of my life.
Thank you.
I don't care what people think or what people say. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for Thaddeus Kirkland.
Amen.
A lot of people don't know I met Thaddeus Kirkland when I was a little bad boy in 5th grade at Columbus. Right. When I was ripping and running and, he came up there. We got into a fight. The first time I met Thaddeus, we got into a fight. Right. And so, but he said that, listen, he called my mom after the fight and said, listen, I just beat your son within an inch of his life, and your son is now my son. I don't want him to be a part of the statistics, and I'm going to take him under my wing, and I'm going to mentor him. And that's what he did. And I'm forever grateful for that. So no matter what people think, just because other people don't like him or the community may not like him, that doesn't mean I'm going to throw him to the streets. I'm not going to kick somebody when they down or say, oh, nah, I don't mess with him because the masses or people don't mess with him. Nah, that's still my godfather.
No, I mess with that. It's not like I don't like him. I just wanted accountability, and he didn't show that. And he didn't want to show that. So, it is what it is. Let's talk about the stormwater position, right? Because I understand why the stormwater. I agreed when the stormwater was created. I said the Republicans got the water authority. The Republicans got DELCORA. Why don't the Democrats have an authority? So here we go. We got the stormwater authority, right?
Right.
You were put on there before you were elected. Am I right?
Correct.
Right. So you didn't know that you couldn't be an elected councilman and sit on the board at the same time?
Correct.
Right. So y'all were fighting against that. Mayor Roots, after you said what you said, then came out and said, yo, y'all doing the wrong thing over here, right?
Correct.
And then you were like, oh, I didn't know. But then it went to court. So the court ruled. What did the court rule?
Okay, so let me just break it down. I got appointed to the Stormwater Authority in 2020.
Okay.
In February of 2020. And
this is a paid position.
This is a paid position.
How much?
It's equivalent to about $1,000 and some dollars a month.
Okay.
And all of the authorities in the city, Chester Water Authority, all of their board members get paid.
Right.
DELCORA, all of their board members get paid.
Right.
And so the Stormwater Authority, it's only right that their board members get paid as well.
Absolutely.
It's just it's common. Okay. Authorities, they pay their board members. Right. And so I was appointed in 2020 while I was serving on the school board. And it was other members serving on the school board as well that was appointed. Okay. And now the Stormwater Authority was created in 2016. So many say that, I created the stormwater and I'm on there and I'm getting paid. No, I didn't create the stormwater authority. Right. I wasn't there during the inception of the stormwater authority. I didn't come till 4 years later because of the work that I was doing in the community. And they wanted to diverse the board and expand the board. Right. The board had 5 board members. And before I came on, all of the board members was 60 and over. I was the youngest person appointed to the board. And I bring a different background and some diversity to the board, which they wanted to do. Absolutely. And so I was appointed in 2020, and then I ran for city council in 2023, took office in 2024. Right.
So you took office in 2024, and no one sat you down and said, yo, you're in this position where you are in charge of the city. You can't sit on this board at the same time. Was it because you saw other people that were sitting on the board, or you just didn't think it was a problem?
Well, you got to realize when the board was created, 2 council people was on the board originally. Right. That was Al Jacobs and that was Portia West. Okay. Al ended up coming off the board. They put Griffin, Latifah Griffin on the board. And so Portia stayed there, and she stayed on the board up until now. And so when I came to city council, she was already a council person, and she was still on the board. So I didn't know there was a conflict. I didn't think there was a conflict. And then if you read the third class city code, the charter, it says that you cannot be compensated for working within Chester city government. And Chester Stormwater Authority is its own entity. It was created by Chester City, but it's its own entity. Has its own bylaws, its own board members, own bank accounts, own coffers, everything. And so it's separate from the city. Okay. And so the stormwater's position was that you can hold a city council position and a board position because it's 2 different entities.
What is the reason for the Stormwater Authority?
So the Stormwater Authority is to manage the water runoff. Right. So the
Isn't
federal
that what
government
do?
No, it's totally different.
Okay, all right.
The federal government mandated that any community that's near waterways, which will be the Delaware River, you have to help prevent toxins from going into the river. Right. And so there's stormwater authorities being started all over the country. Right. This is federally mandated.
I know.
If anybody live in Upper Chichester
EPA.
just started a stormwater authority.
Okay.
And, Wilmington has one. People have these stormwater authorities. It's common, And so that's what they do. They help the water drain runoff. So when it rains and it floods, they try to help prevent that. And that's what they've been doing a really good job at that.
Okay. We got a question. How can you take office and not know these things?
Take office? Right. Well, again, before I took office, I read the charter. Right. And the charter says that you cannot hold another compensated position within Chester city government.
Okay. All right.
And so when you read that, which it's a very gray area, you read that and you think, okay, I can't be city council and be the janitor and get a paycheck for city council and be the janitor. I can't be on city council and serve as the director of economic development and receive 2 paychecks for that. Okay. So there is where the confusion was. Okay. And even the city solicitor said that it was a gray area. And that's why the best thing to do was to take it to court and let a judge decide.
Let a judge decide, right. So are they asking you to pay the money back? Do you got to pay the money back, or you just void the position?
No, they're not asking me to pay the money back, because you got to realize, and it's funny, some people have used the words like embezzlement, stealing money. I never stole a dime from the city. Right. I never embezzled a dime from the city. Right. When you think of, the receiver used the words unauthorized payments. However, I can't authorize my own payment. Right. I can't cut my own check. Right. So the payments wasn't unauthorized. People authorized the payments. However, the city never set up the proper steps and when they created the authority. So when the city created the authority, they were supposed to do 2 things: a salary ordinance. They were supposed to do a salary ordinance that say this is the amount that each board member will get paid. Right. They never done that. Okay. And you can't blame the board members for that. Right. You can't blame me for that. Right. You had 3 solicitors. That was 3 lawyers working for the city, and you had a lawyer at the Stormwater Authority. They should have known, okay, we have to set the salary ordinance. And once the city sets the salary ordinance for the board members, the Stormwater Authority board members are supposed to set the officers' ordinance.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't know that, and the people on the board didn't know that. And I mean, this has been going on since 2016.
Right.
I think nobody knew that you were supposed to set this when you established the Stormwater Authority. And so that's where the fault came in at. They never set this. The city never voted on a salary ordinance.
Right. There's a big ethics reform vote coming up. Where do you stand with that, right? And do you think council needs more accountability?
So I am willing and ready to vote on an ethics policy.
Okay.
I think all of us, I mean, we worked weeks and weeks on that ethics policy.
Right.
I mean, months, really.
Right.
You know, we worked months on preparing the ethics policy, going back, sitting down as a collective body, going line for line on the ethics policy. However, what stopped us from voting on the ethics policy was this decision that the court would ultimately have to make, is whether Chester City elected officials can sit on the Stormwater Board or any authority in the Commonwealth or any city, state, or federal authority.
Right. We have a question. Someone asked about your educational background. You already, in the petty questions, we asked the petty questions at the beginning. You said you did graduate high school.
Correct.
Right. Right. And people are asking, just because you've done things in the community, how did that make you positioned to be for council? But that's what most people do. They do things in their community, people recognize them, and then they run.
Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, let's take it back. I started out when I was 11. Right. I started out in community activism when I was 11 years old. And I never did it for any money. I never did it for any recognition. I did it for what was right. At 11, 4-year-old Jemiah Butler got killed in the city of Chester. And I knew that if we had 4-year-olds getting killed, we had a serious problem. And I knew at 11 that I didn't want to be a part of the problem. I wanted to be a part of the solution. Okay. And so I started out in community activism. I was marching. I was standing on the front lines with Mothers in Charge, with all these different other organizations trying to stop the violence. And I was standing up for my community at a young age, trying to sit at the table, trying to make a change, and just trying to be a part of a great Chester and trying to make a difference. So I started at 11. And after that, while I was in high school, while I was working, I met a lot of people from the governor on down. And when I was in high school, I became friends with Governor Jack Markell in the state of Delaware. Right. So, I grew up in Chester, born and raised in Chester. I lived 2 years in Darby, then I lived in Wilmington for 8 years, graduated from Christiana High School. Okay. But while I was in high school, became friends with the governor, and I was in a program called Jobs for Delaware Graduates and Delaware Career Association. Right. And so I was the president of that organization, and you became the president of all the high schools in Delaware, of all the chapters. And so I would meet his cabinet members often or at any speaking engagements. And when I graduated high school, the Secretary of Labor called me, John McMahon. He said, if you want a job, I got one for you. And so I started working for the Department of Labor at 18. Okay. I left there. I started working for the Social Security Administration. While I was working for the Social Security Administration, I started working on Dennis Williams' campaign. He was running for mayor of Wilmington at the time. When he won, he appointed me as the executive director of the Wilmington Youth Leadership Commission. I left there. While I was there, I was working on John Linder's campaign when he was running for mayor.
Absolutely.
He won. I came back to Chester, started working as a community liaison with Lisa Dennis, Raheem, and Nicole. Right. And then in 2017, I ran for school board. Right. While I was on school board, I got appointed to the Delaware County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors. Okay. Got appointed to the Salvation Army Board of Directors. And so I've held many positions in order to qualify me to become city council.
There it is. There it is. July 4th. Typically, we meet at Chester Park. We have fireworks. What happened this year?
I mean, not just this year, the last
couple years. A couple years,
right? I mean, there's some people who don't believe Chester City should
have fireworks.
Entertain. We're not in the entertainment business. We're supposed to be a city government, not doing entertainment. I don't believe that. I believe we should. I believe our residents deserve good quality entertainment. Right. And I think they should have places to come to on holidays, or, festival days or whatever. I think that other cities do it. They do it all the time. Why can't Chester do it? Right. Why do we always have to go to Philadelphia, to Wilmington, to Aston, to other places to see fireworks or to see entertainment? Right. I think Chester, we deserve to do it too.
Absolutely. I mean, Chester had it for years, right?
If it was up to me, we would have done fireworks. We would have done a 4th of July show because, that was a tradition. When I was growing up, I couldn't wait to go to Chester Park for the 4th of July show.
Absolutely.
And then eventually once the Democrats took office, I started hosting a 4th of July show. So that was a big thing for the city. And I think what happens is oftentimes people in the city, they're so used to coming to these events, they never looked at the expenses of what it cost and stuff like that. They just knew the city throwing a 4th of July show, we going to show up.
Yeah. I remember we did one, I don't know if it was 4th of July when we did it down at the waterfront. They were doing fireworks down there. I don't know if it was 4th of July or that was a Juneteenth. I think that might have been Juneteenth celebration. Right? And maybe that's what it is, right? We're a black city, so we're saying if Juneteenth is the day, then we're doing it on Juneteenth, right?
Right.
And we ain't worried about 4th of July, but still, I get it. Right.
But 4th of July has been a tradition in Chester.
It has.
For many, many years, they've had artists after artists after artists come to Chester Park and perform at 4th of July. It's something that we all used to look forward to. I couldn't wait to get to Chester Park on 4th of July in my best suited and booted, going there having a good time, watching the fireworks, seeing all your family and friends. It's always been a tradition in Chester.
Absolutely. So the city's been buzzing about the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival and the $20,000 being paid to performer Kiki Wyatt. Mm-hmm. Why her? And why now? And why is this situation such a big situation? Because you're pushing it.
Yeah. So, again, a lot of our traditions in the city have been taken away.
Okay.
We don't have the Riverfront Ramble no more.
Right.
We don't have the 4th of July. We don't have all of the big events that we used to have.
Okay.
And so last year, during budget season, as we was preparing for the budget, I said, you know what? Next year, I want to do a festival. I want to put together a festival. And what we need in Chester is peace, love, and unity. So I'm going to call it the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival. And so while we was doing budget negotiations, I asked the city if they would put $25,000 in a coffer so that way we can have a Peace, Love, and Unity Festival. And so when it came time for budget, that's what we did. We voted on a budget that included $25,000 for the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival.
Okay.
And the city will put up the first $25,000, and I will raise all the additional money.
Okay. Awesome.
And so Kiki Wyatt, at first I wanted to get Drew Hill. Drew Hill, they wanted $75,000.
What?
And then I was going to get Jagged Edge. They wanted $65,000.
That's a lot of money.
Tyrese wanted $150,000.
For them just to come through and sing?
Just to come through and sing. And then I stumbled upon Kiki Wyatt, and she wanted $20,000.
There you go.
And
she's in the budget.
I went with Kiki Wyatt.
Okay.
And she's one of the few artists that can really still sing. Like, she still has them vocals that go crazy.
Yeah, she covers
and
a
she
lot
puts
of songs.
on a great show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She covers. So what do you have to say to the people who saying you could have found something else to do with the $20,000? Like, we didn't have to have a festival. Shit, you could have paid for everybody to be down at the park swimming. Or they could have went in the pool, which was brought to you by the Stormwater Authority. The pond that was brought to you by the Stormwater Authority. What is up with the pond anyway, right? Yeah, we're going to come back to that. But anyway, with the $20,000, is there something else that you think people wanted to see you do with the $20,000?
You got to realize the city has a $68 million budget, and that covers everything. And so $20,000 is not like a huge part of the city's budget. And you got to realize in the cities, in any municipality budget, you put money aside for recreation. And you decide what that recreation look like, whether that's a 4th of July graduation party, which we had, we put money aside for that, whether you're doing fireworks, whether you're doing community block party, whether you're doing a cleanup, whatever you're doing in terms of recreation, if you're doing arts and crafts in the park, you put money aside for that. You put money aside for street pavement. You put money aside for capital projects.
Absolutely.
You put money aside for salaries. You put money aside for broken lights, to fix the holes and the potholes. So there's different money that you put aside in the city budget.
Right.
And we put recreational money, $25,000 for this festival in the city budget. And so, of course, people say, oh, you could have spent it to do this, you could have spent it to do that. Yeah, I get that, but that's not how city budgets work. Right. City budgets work. You do line items. You do, you have different budgets. And you have different coffers where you say, okay, we're going to put this amount here, and this amount here.
All right.
And I think it's so unfortunate. A lot of people want everything free. You can't have everything free, and I get it.
Well, you can thank the Democratic Party for that.
Yeah, but that's not That's not the way it works.
I know it's not the way
People
it works.
People want, you want the pool, you want this to be free, you want that to be free.
Right.
And I get it.
Right.
I really do get it.
Right.
But that's not the way it works.
No,
everything can't be free.
Everything has a price.
Everything has a price.
And if you don't pay it now, you'll pay it later. So you either pay attention and pay now, right?
Yeah.
So the $25,000 was already allotted last year, right? When y'all voted on the budget.
Correct.
You feel me? To bring the money available and make it available now.
Correct.
Right? So everything else is being taken care of the way it should be taken care of.
Correct.
That's just saying. You're not pulling from different situations, like you're not filling the pothole, or you're not collecting trash, or you're not doing any of the things that we need just to have this festival.
No.
Okay. All right. Are you asking for vendors to pay? Are vendors paying? All right, and that's just to cover.
That's
right?
just
if
to
you
cover.
go over, because if you go over $25,000. All right.
Correct.
Awesome.
And let me just say this: so this is probably one of the first or very few times that we get a chance to see a festival play out from start to beginning, to finish.
Right.
And so I started working on this festival last year when I put it in the budget.
Right.
Then we had to book the artists early.
Right.
So we start booking the artists and started talking about this in city council meeting in February.
Right.
We voted on it in March.
Okay.
And so
how did that vote go?
So the first vote, they tabled it.
Right. Okay.
The first vote was tabled until they seen a presentation of what the festival is, what it's going to look like, and all the nitty gritty, all the details. Mm-hmm. And so we held, after that, once they was tabled, we held a meeting with the Parks and Recreation Committee, and I presented the festival in there. And that way council members or anybody, the public, they can come and ask questions about the festival, what it looks like, what it costs, who's going to be there, how many acts, and all of that. Right. And so that's what we did. I presented that and let them know that there would be local acts. I announced it would be local acts way back in February.
Get that flyer back up there. Get that flyer back. Thank you. Appreciate you. Sorry. Yeah, but go ahead. You said local acts.
Yep. So we got local acts. We got DJs.
Right.
We got food vendors. You have a kid zone. You got a kid zone with arts and crafts, moon bounces, 2 gaming trucks, free giveaways. You have a health zone. Right. I got 24 healthcare providers coming there to provide resources and services.
Take over the whole screen.
So,
you got Jemiah Springfield.
Right.
Cool dude, bro.
Yeah.
Can sing, can blow, man. We got Tyra Starr.
Not only do we have local acts, but every last one of the acts will be paid.
Right. Come on, man. And you got Jay Sutton and Nasir
Leach.
Come on,
you
man.
know?
But we got sponsors, bro. My thing was, right, I don't want to knock anybody before I check it out. So I will come out. I don't come out too often now, but I will come out for that, right? Because I feel like it speaks everything that I'm talking about. Peace, love, and unity, right? Why can't we come together? I do understand why people are holding you accountable to this, right? Because it was just too much going on, Fred. Honestly. You know, we got the stormwater situation. We done spent $20 million on a pond. What is the pond for? Explain what the pond is for. How does that help us? It always flooded down there. It always got crazy down there where people thought it was a pond already during the rain. Why are we really building a pond down there when there are other things we need?
Well, okay, so it's a catch basin.
Okay.
And it's going to prevent all of the flooding. If you know anything about the flooding down there, it will flood all the way from the train tracks all the way to the library. So the catch basin is going to stop that. And it's going to eliminate all of the flooding to people's homes and that entire area. And so there was a $10 million grant that was approved for that by the federal government. People gave $10 million because they seen a flooding issue in Chester and they wanted to resolve it.
So that's not money that came from us.
No, it's not money that came from us.
All right.
It's not money that came from the city.
Right.
No. And so people always say, oh, you could have done this, that, but that. You could have done this, with this money. But you got to realize there's money allocated for certain projects and certain things.
Okay.
And so that money was allocated for that.
You sure $25 million didn't come in and we just did I'm just playing with you, man. Listen, I get it, man. I get everything that we need. I get all the services that are required. We need more people to stand up. We need more people to come out, right? We're talking about the kids.
Oh, I'm sorry. So back to the point I was trying to make. We are seeing this festival play out in living color. We voted on it. It was a public meeting where we voted on it, and we voted on the cost of the artists. We deliberated about it. We talked about it. And so people get a chance to see how much it costs for the festival, how much we're paying the artists. Right. And so that's where the outrage
comes.
Is
that Enes? You going to have Enes there? Is that Enes? Did I see Enes on the bottom?
No, Enes.
Okay.
No.
I'm sorry.
All R&B artists.
All R&B
R&B and gospel.
Okay.
R&B and gospel.
No rappers.
No rappers. And so you
could have threw CRMC up there.
I know. Yeah. Well, they just performed that,
right.
But they my guys. They
all the time.
And so before, when we used to come to the Riverfront Ramble, we used to come to the 4th of July show. They never talked about how much it cost.
Right.
The community never cared or never talked about how much it's costing, how much of the and the Riverfront Ramble used to cost almost $200,000.
So who dropped the ball and put it out there? How much this thing costs?
But see, that's the thing. I don't mind them dropping the ball. It's not about dropping the ball. I mean, I don't mind them being transparent. I don't mind the community knowing how much it costs. It's okay if they know. I mean, this is what government does.
Okay.
And if a lot of people come to the meetings, they'll know firsthand on how much money we're spending and what we're spending it on.
So we will answer the comments. We're talking right now, so I appreciate everybody out there that's commenting, everybody that got something to say. I can't really see the comments when it keeps rolling through. I see Rich Bly right now. Why does council charge administrative fees when you're already hired to do a job? Explain the admin fees, please. And I don't know
I'm not sure what fees he's talking about.
What admin fees he's talking about. All right, so you got to explain that question a little better. About the youth, how is this festival? Like, how will it help the youth? I see you got the kids zone. What's going to be in the kids zone?
Yep. So in the kids zone, you'll have moon bounces. Okay. You'll have face painting.
Right.
2 gaming trucks.
Right.
Arts and crafts.
Okay.
And free giveaways. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of kid-friendly stuff.
All right.
And then you have a health zone. In the health zone, you have 24 healthcare providers providing services and resources to the community. And that way, you can get your blood pressure checked. They're doing, I believe, COVID tests. Right. They're doing a bunch of everything. Right. Especially with the closing of Crozier. Right. And limited health sources. I think this would be a great opportunity for people to come and get information and resources.
Do you think it's just everything happening at one time, and they're just looking for someone to blame or someone to pin the tail on the donkey, so to say? Because we got Crozier, we got the closure of Crozier, right? We got the situation that happened down on 291 with the cop beating the young man up, right? And then that case just got dismissed or whatever. I don't know what really happened with that. And then we have the Stormwater Authority and the bills from the Stormwater Authority. It's like everybody is just that much fed up. And then what's going on in council? Like they say y'all in there fighting, y'all arguing, y'all not agreeing on stuff on purpose to keep things flowing down the road, right? Like what do you have to say about everything? But say it from your position. I don't want you speaking for nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that mayor and council didn't agree on a lot of stuff, especially the first year. Right. The first year was extremely rocky. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting. There was a lot of, I don't always agree with the mayor don't always agree with me, but that's democracy. Right. That's what happens. I mean, you want people that say, okay, I stand for this, I stand for that. I want it this way, I want it that way. I think it's best to do it this way. I think it's best to do it that way. And that's what you have on Chester City Council. You got people that are young and old on there. Absolutely. And so everyone has a different mindset. Everyone comes from a different perspective or different point of view. And so we don't always agree, but you can agree to disagree. Right. And so there were a lot of fighting. There was a lot of back and forth in the first year. Not so much this year. Do we always agree on everything? No. But I think, it is what it is.
What is your vision for Chester, and how does this festival fit into that?
So my vision is to bring more people to Chester.
Okay.
And also, I want to be able to support local vendors and have local vendors out there selling their products, and they get a chance to maybe make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever they can make. We don't have a lot of festivals in Chester. We don't have a lot of events where vendors can come and they can make a whole bunch of money in one day. Right. I think this festival is going to afford local vendors an opportunity to capitalize on all of the people that's coming to the city of Chester. So you got people will make money off of this festival. People will come in and spend money with vendors. People will come stay at our hotels. You got people that are coming from out of town just to come to this festival. People will come support the different restaurants, the different businesses in the city. They may stay here and go to church the next day. Right. And so it's just like, you get a chance to bring people together, almost like a family reunion, almost like a homecoming where people come back to the city and they get a chance to see everybody, see all of their family, their friends, and enjoy a day of peace, love, and unity.
Awesome. So the big question, do you plan on running for mayor in the next election?
I do plan on running for mayor.
So is that why, the infighting is happening, where you're standing up and showing people? I mean, because that's usually what happens. The next person up is usually fighting against the mayor, right? And saying, no, you're wrong. Let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. And that's how people are taking it, right? So we're talking about the election is what, 2 years, 3 years away? 2 years?
2027.
2027. You're running for mayor. Yes.
Yes.
Answer the question. Yes. Okay. All right.
But you got to realize, I mean, look at the stuff that we was disagreeing on, though. Right. There was all legit concerns. There was all legit issues. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just picking a fight with the mayor. No, that's not who I am. That's not in my character. Right. I thought that he was doing something wrong, and I'm bringing it to the forefront, and we're having a disagreement about it. Like the Ralph Dorsey situation. Or it was a bunch of situations, but the Dame Dash situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, if I don't agree with something that they do, we're going to have a disagreement about it, or we talk about it. And sometimes we talk about it in the public in those council meetings. Absolutely. Because that's where the deliberation happens. That's where the back and forth about it happens at.
I sit on the fence. I don't jump on either side. I've learned my lesson from jumping on one side, and it doesn't fit. What's best for the city of Chester is a leader that can be transparent,
absolutely,
accountable, trustworthy, and honest, bro. Those are the four things that I need for my leader to have, right? How can you show us in the next 2 years that you have all of those traits? And have you been showing us that you have all of those traits throughout your whole political or non-political or community-affiliated career?
Well, see, I think that's the thing. I've been honest. I've been transparent, and people don't like me when I'm honest. They don't like when I put the city business out there.
They don't like
or
it.
They simply don't like it. If I tell you, oh, they're going to spend $50,000 to find a new police commissioner, or they've spent $17 million on receivership,
We didn't really spend that money. That didn't come. Again, just like the pool didn't come from that was money paid by the state to come in and make sure.
Don't you pay state taxes?
I definitely pay state taxes.
Okay, so you spent that money. We spent that money.
I paid state taxes on the pond too. I paid state taxes on your festival. You feel me?
Exactly. Absolutely. But I'm saying, if we pay state taxes, we pay for that. I pay state taxes. So when I say, and I never said that the city of Chester paid for that.
Right.
I said they have spent $17 million on receivership.
Okay.
And that's how much, over $17 million on receivership.
Right. So earlier you were talking about
to get us out of a $43 million hole.
How the solicitors didn't do what they were supposed to do with the Stormwater Authority.
Correct.
Right? Who's the solicitor now?
Kenneth Schuster.
He was the solicitor then.
Correct. We had 3 solicitors at City Hall.
Okay.
We had Kenneth Schuster, Bob, and we had Mary.
Okay.
And then the Stormwater Authority had Joe Oxman.
Right. So Joe Oxman, Kenneth Schuster, they didn't know what they were supposed to do as far as the putting the pen to the paper to make sure that the Stormwater Authority spoke correctly for the city of Chester, so no one on was hired, or did they not think it would ever be a problem?
What you mean no one was hired?
No one that was sitting on the city council. No one sitting on the city council could be on the board of the Stormwater Authority, right? That's what the judge said. So when you said earlier that the solicitors didn't do their paperwork and make sure everything was right, why do you think that didn't happen? Was that because of the...
I think it was just a misstep.
Okay.
This was the first time that they have created an authority. You got to realize the Water Authority was created 150 years ago.
Right.
The Corps was created 100 years ago, or whenever it was created. And so this was their first time creating an authority.
Okay.
And they missed the steps. And one of the most crucial steps, and especially in terms of the board, was creating the salary ordinance. Mm-hmm. And having a resolution for city council to pass the salary ordinance, which really could have been amended.
Right.
If the receiver, if he didn't want to cause, he could have really just said, hey, y'all missed the steps. Y'all need to vote on this. Y'all need to bring this back on the city council's agenda to fix it. Mm. And I believe I think now it'll get fixed. I think it'll happen now.
Okay.
Because all the other authorities are getting paid.
All right.
But again, there was 4 solicitors there, and they all missed it.
They all missed it. So even if they look back on, we're not even going to do that. I'm not getting into the Stormwater Authority. I'm going to let somebody else do that. If elected, what would be your 3 top priorities in your first year for the city of Chester? Elected as mayor.
Economic development.
Economic development.
We have to bring up economic development.
Okay.
If you look at the city's budget, majority of our budget comes from earned income tax credit.
Okay.
And so we have to get more people into the city. Mm-hmm. And we have to get more businesses into the city paying taxes. And we really have to try to change the mindset of the people in Chester.
Right.
70% of the people in Chester are low income, Section 8 housing. And those properties do not pay taxes in Chester. And so we have to create more homeowners. So we have to transition people out of low income into homeowners and really create more businesses, try to bring more businesses into the city. We have to run a campaign that's going to encourage people to come in. We have to talk about the 10-year tax abatement that we have on the books for all brand new construction from the ground up. You can get a 10-year tax abatement on the city and the school district. And so we have to bring up economic development. We have to continue to bring violence down and make the city safer. The only way people come to want to move back to a city is if it's safe again.
Right.
How do we make the city safe? We got to figure that out. And then, and we have nothing to do with the school district, but a lot of people, when they buy homes, they look at the school district.
They definitely look at the school district.
If I'm going to buy a house, the first thing, especially if I have children, first thing I'm going to do is look at the school district. And so how can we improve the school district?
One thing I understand about Chester Upland School District is it's not a bad school district, right? You hear about the fights and the bullying and different things like that. I went through Chester Upland School District. All I had to do was go to class. I didn't want to go to class. I wanted to be in the hallway. I wanted to play around, right? But if I would have went to class, there were people that graduated Chester Upland School District. Drake Clark graduated Chester Upland School District. There are people, I can't think of her name right now. Blame the strokes. But she works out at Swarthmore University, right? She went to high school. There are good people that went to Chester Upland School District that go on to do great things. So I don't want anybody to
agree
say
100%.
The school district is terrible. No, really, honestly, it's the community, and we're pushing the kids in there. And I want to tell people from the beginning, the school is not your personal babysitter, right? They're not they can't discipline your kid if you can't. Right, so don't send your kids out thinking that the school got them and they go into school and tear it up. I appreciate you stopping through, man. How do you define leadership, and what kind of leader do you believe Chester needs right now?
So leadership is someone that's honest, someone that has integrity, someone that stands up for what they believe is right, and someone that really wants to make a difference and not just sit in the seat just to be sitting in the seat, but someone that really wants to make difference and someone that wants to lead the people. And when we think of a leader in Chester, you got to, especially if we're looking at like the mayor or council, like you're the top. And so you want people to follow you. You want people to follow your lead. And so you really got to show respect. You got to show respect in order to get respect. You got to show courage. You know, like I said, when I said I want to be like Barack Obama,
right.
You know, everything that he embodies is what the kind of leader we need in the city.
So someone said earlier, it sounds like gentrification. I truly believe that not all gentrification comes from white people. I believe that black people can gentrify their neighborhoods to get people to think better of themselves, to get people to want and value more from their children, right? I think we're a little lax on how hard we are on our kids. Every other group of people, from the Asians to the Indians to Jamaicans and Haitians, when they come here, they force their children and tell their children, no, you're going to be a doctor. And they know, go figure out what you're going to do. You're going to be a doctor, right? So we don't do that in the black community. And I'm not knocking anybody that doesn't agree with me. You feel me? I'm not knocking anybody that's not doing it. I'm just saying the things that we don't do. Yeah. Let's talk about the things that we don't do as a community and just start doing them and watch it get better. That's all we can do. Because right now, we're in receivership, both the city and the school board. We're fighting over whether we're paying for a pool, we're arguing over a pond, we're fighting over a festival, and there's so much that our city can do. Just do it together. Like, unity has always been my thing, right? I don't know of any other way to do anything but for us to do it together, right? You know, I appreciate you stopping through, man. If there's anything you want to say to the people before you get up out of here.
Yeah, I see they talk about gentrification, right, but I don't think it's gentrification. It's improving the city.
Right.
You know, and it's okay for us to improve the city. I mean, the reality is Chester is in the position it's in because we don't have a strong tax base. That is the bottom line. That is the reality. We don't have a strong tax base in order to provide the operations and the services that we need on a daily basis. The school district don't have a strong tax base, or the city of Chester don't have a strong tax base. Yeah. And so we have to create that. Yeah. We have to create, and we do that through economic development and home ownerships, building apartments, you know, not just affordable, you know, you can build market rate housing where we can invite people to come in, you know, the middle class people to come in, and we can build up our earned income tax credit, and we can build up the city's budget in order to provide more services. And in order for us to get out of this deficit, for this $43 million in a hole we in, we have to bring in new taxes. We need new tax revenue coming into the city.
You came down to the last Fusion Friday event.
Correct.
And looked at Sun Village Park. What did you say to me? You said, this is an awesome, it's a huge park.
With so much potential.
So much potential.
So much potential.
But people realize that, right? And I'm not going to...
The entire city has so much potential.
But you have to, and Ray Phillips said it starts at the top. It can't start at the top. It has to start at the bottom and get to the top, bro. We have to push it to the top. But we need people at the bottom, the people that are working, the everyday people. Because what happens in gentrification is new money moves in, prices go up, and long-time residents move out. And I don't want that. I really want the city to stay here. We just got to work together. We got to build each other up, bro. We can't keep tearing each other down and fussing and fighting. But I get it. Like, different strokes for different folks. I'm not involved with that. When you called me, I ain't seen you. I've just been falling back, bro. Yeah. Like, honestly, I picked some fights I shouldn't have picked. I got put out there, and it didn't work well for me. So, you know, I fall back. But when I know someone is doing something that I don't want them to do, I want Thaddeus to enjoy his elderly years, man. Go retire, take a cruise, go lay on the beach. You've done enough, bro. It's enough. You got enough properties. You got enough. Do what you need to do. Go sit down, right? That's all. When I saw him on the school board, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Then somebody tell me the charter's up in 2026. It's like, oh, that's another money grab. Nah, I don't want that no more. I don't even want to think that way. And that's why I said what I said. But, you know, I have to apologize because someone called me the other day and had a conversation with me. And it's like, sometimes you don't always have to speak up the way you speak up. People take it the wrong way, and then they want to fight. Everybody want to argue. So I don't want to fight with nobody. I don't want to argue with anybody. I want everybody to understand leadership. What leadership costs.
Yeah.
What you have to sacrifice to be a leader. You've done that. You gave up a job to go into the school board. School board was free. You did that for 4 years, and you jump onto the city council. What are you doing for the city as a city councilman? How are you speaking to the children as a city councilman, helping the children as a city councilman, and letting the children know that this could be you too? Because if you looked at you from 5th grade to where you are now, you think 5th grade you would be impressed?
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. And I don't think that, and let me just be clear, because I don't want people to think that I'm saying let's push all the residents out or push the lower class. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have a lot of land in the city. You got a lot of parcels in the city. It's time to start building on those parcels. It's time to start building on all of this vacant land in Chester. It's time to start building new homes. We need new homes. We need, when you go to Wilmington, when you go to Philly, when you go to all these other places, they're building high rises. Everyone is building except Chester. Right. Everyone is building up except Chester. You go to Aston, they're building. You go to Brookhaven, they're building. And these are municipalities with 5,000 residents. We got 40,000 residents. Why aren't we building? We need Chester to build. So when I talk about economic development and I talk about housing, I'm talking about in Chester, all of these vacant lands, all of these vacant lots, we got to start building on them. We got to invite investors to come in and to build the city of Chester back up. And we do it through home ownership and economic development. So I'm not saying push all the lower class or push all our seniors out. No, I want them to stay here. This is their pride and joy. This is Sea Pride. This is where we're born and raised. But I also think that it's okay for us to invite new people in, to us to invite new residents, new businesses, new opportunities. And that's what we need in order to build Chester back up.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we need people to come together, right? Whenever you have an election and only 2,000 people, out of 34,000 people, only 2,000 people come out and vote, that tells you right there, right, that there's a disconnect, that no one understands what we need to change. That nobody's really fighting for anything. If you know you can get out of 2,000 votes, all I need is 700, I'll win. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
It really doesn't make sense. So we need for people to wake up. We need for people to understand that their voice is power. We need for people to see who they want to vote for and put them in positions to make things happen. It's just that simple, man. Right? If you want to write in some names, right, just get out there and talk about it. Election coming up November. I don't know who's all on the ballot, right, too much, but, you know, ain't nobody talking about election right now. Everybody just letting it go, right? And then they'll talk about it again in October. No, there is no break. I need to know what you plan on doing because you're going to be in charge of something.
Right.
You're running to be in charge of something. So I need to know what the hell's happening. But, you know, again, I'm just over here minding my business, man. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Absolutely.
I truly do.
Thank
you feel me?
Man.
Like, never did I ever want to destroy you. I let other people do that. You feel me? Like, if they choose to do that. But listen, you know, talking the way you did, coming through here and being candid and being accountable, right? You know, and saying that, yes, you do associate. You will always associate because he saved your life, right? Yep. I appreciate that, right? So never knocking any of that stuff, man. Anything you want to say before you get up out of here? Go ahead.
Look, I just want people to know I am open, honest, and transparent. I don't mind telling my truth. I don't mind speaking the truth. I don't mind answering questions. Also, I have an open door policy at City Hall. I'll meet with anyone. Anyone can come in and ask me questions. We also have council meetings every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. You can come to city council meetings. You can ask me questions. You can ask the mayor questions. You can ask any of us. I don't mind answering questions, and I don't mind speaking to my constituents and my residents about anything. So anytime anybody want to have a conversation or got a question for me, feel free to call me. Feel free to come to City Hall, inbox me, anything. And also make sure you guys come on out on September 13th for the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival, live in front of City Hall from Chester City Hall to the Transportation Center, starting at 12 p.m., a whole day of food, fun, festivities, and entertainment. It's going to be a great time.
I appreciate you doing that, man. You feel me? I don't want to say the money can be used in other places because we already know what the situation is. So let's try to find solutions inside of our arguments, man. Shout out to everybody out there doing what they're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't use this podcast as an attack on you because it's not. You feel me? Just keep moving forward, man. We can change, but we have to change together, right? The CMPRadio.net, you already know it's your boy Uncle P. I want to thank our guest, Councilman Fred Green, for stopping through and explaining everything that he's been going through. He gave it to y'all. I honestly believe he gave it to y'all, right? If there's any questions anybody got, man, we got 2 minutes, so you better hurry up and super type them, man. People want to know, when are you available?
I'm available at any time.
Right.
You can call my office. You send me an email, anything. fgreen@chestercity.com. I'm on Facebook, Fred Green. You can DM me, anything. Go live during city council. The city council meetings are broadcasted. You can go on the cityofchester.com website and you can see it live. And also, they have all the replays on YouTube as well.
Right. You got to look for things. So can't just expect for things to pop up.
And that's another thing I want people to understand. Like, I get it. A lot of people, talk on Facebook or post stuff on Facebook. Y'all can come to the meetings too. Like, don't be afraid to come to the meetings. Like, I get it. Y'all want to talk on Facebook. Y'all want to raise all these concerns on Facebook, but don't be a Facebook. What do you call it?
I don't know.
Like, I get it. Like, y'all don't just talk about it on Facebook. Be about it. Come to the meetings. Right. Show up to the meetings. Ask these questions, and come hold your elected officials or your people in position accountable. It's okay to come to the meetings and voice your issues and concerns. And yeah,
Jackie Bell want to know, who does she connect with about the city parcels of land? Most of these parcels around here are already brought. People are waiting. Understand, people are waiting for your city to be done, to be disenfranchised, to be absolutely done, right? So they can come in and build things up for their people, right? You got to pay attention. So, man, get out there in the community and find out. You got to ask the question. If you don't ask, you won't know. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I want you to understand that no such thing as a stupid question, unless you choose not to do the work yourself and you find other people to do it, man.
And Jackie, you can contact Lisa Gaffney. She is the executive director of CETA. And CETA owns that's the Chester Economic Development Authority. They own a bunch of the lands and parcels throughout the city that you can, that's for sale. So you can contact her, or you can go through zoning, try to get a zoning presentation, or go through the planning board, let them know your plans and what you want to do, and go through that step. But Lisa will direct you. She'll guide you all the way through the whole process.
A favorable journey. I think you didn't say who is raised in Chester would love to start businesses, but we fear. What do we fear? We fear the violence. I would love to bring the empowerment center there. Will I get attacked for bringing trauma and dysfunction to the table as an organization so we can change? I bring it to the table every day. I was dysfunctional. I was traumatized. And I sold drugs. And I poisoned my community, bro. Because of that, I'm out here in the community helping the children, helping them understand that if they see it, they can be it. If they understand it, you can do it, right? So I'm just trying to give back a little bit. But listen, come, let's build, man. Again, we need each other. You have skills that I don't have. You have skills that I don't have. She has skills that I don't have. But we have to work together in unison to make everything work. I was talking to a friend, and he was talking about a Rolex. See, the name is expensive, but the parts inside of it, they work together with each other to make that watch work the way it works. So we need all the parts in the watch. So all the parts in the watch make the watch work. It's not just the outside, it's the inside. It's the little levers, it's the punches, it's the wheels, it's all that stuff that make the watch work, man. We need parts. We need pieces. We need people to come together to make this watch work.
And elected officials can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. It's going to take all of us, the entire community. And also, quite frankly, it's going to take people coming from outside the community to do it too. Right. We can't just do it alone. We need everybody, all hands on deck, in order to make Chester better and to improve the operations in the city. Everyone got to be working together, all for the common good and the betterment of the city.
Absolutely. And Flawless says, get you some Bitcoin, man. He hit me up yesterday, was talking about Bitcoin, talking about the meeting that was held yesterday and how we're making people scared, right? And Trump and all his homies are invested in Bitcoin, so you better pay attention. Grab you a couple dollars of Bitcoin, right? Save some money, I guess. I don't know. How do you save money if you don't have money?
You
have money. People waste more money than they actually. People waste the money that they can save. And I say that because people waste money every day on dumb stuff.
Key, what's up, sis? Yeah, I teach mental health and trauma-informed care. I'm willing to provide training in the city of Chester. We all need it. For the brothers that are out here that are trying to tell these young men, like, they need counseling. They need to talk about what they went through, right? It's one thing. You can't tell somebody to tie your shoes if you got sandals on all the time. You might have a good heart with doing it, but if you've never really experienced it or you're not really dealing with it and you just pushing underneath the rug. You don't sell drugs. Well, why not? Why shouldn't I sell drugs? You sold drugs. No, you shouldn't sell drugs because you're poisoning your community. You got to talk about the effect that it had afterwards, right? So, I thank everybody for tuning in. Fred, I appreciate you for coming through, man. It's a great interview. Like I said, anytime anybody else want to interview, hit me up. We can do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.
Absolutely.
God bless y'all.
Absolutely. Let's get up out of here, man. I woke up in a new Bugatti.